get into action. So grow now, level up, take action. So I'm going to bring on Victoria Bishop, and she's going to share really, we had this live event last week, but how to continually maximize this because it's evergreen. You guys know what evergreen means? It's like it can live in the world forever and you can use it for the next 5 years, 10 years, probably this video. So jump in, Victoria, and share how everyone can maximize this Glow protocol event.
Hey guys. So I'm Victoria. I'm fired up, Wayne. I mean, I'm all about it. Like I love time freedom, but ultimately we're all here to make some money. So I like touching on those bonuses. So and the skincare. I'm an esthetician, so I love that you love the vitamin C. I'm gonna get my husband on that because I have not. I'm gonna just admit that. I kind of give him one or two things, but that is a great idea for an aftershave. So I wrote that down. And liquid chisel juice, I wrote that down too. But you guys, so we did do an event, I believe it was Thursday night, called the Glow Protocol. And as an esthetician, I have always been about the glow up and your skin glowing and all the things. But as I've gotten older, I'm 55, like I really realized that that glow has to come from the inside out. And I lost both my parents young. I was 30 when my dad passed from colon cancer. My mom passed. She was in her early 60s. I mean, literally, I just watched them suffer and learning that we are aging internally and at the cellular level has literally changed my life the last, probably 10 years. That's really the last five. Well, what year is this? 2026. So since 2020, so the last 6 years, I have really been focused on slowing the aging process internally. And I've learned so much since coming to Shackley. The collagen gave me my life back. I've been taking it for 9 years. But adding Vivix to my regimen, like literally took it to another level. The collagen gave me so much relief over the years from joint issues and pain. And, I work with my hands every day. So not being able to make a fist until after 12 o'clock or not being able to raise my arm above my head for 18 months, that kind of really had me incapacitated in holding me back in my job. So the collagen was a game changer. And I knew a lot about the collagen and I can kind of regurgitate it all. But my story is my testimony and it's powerful. But hearing on this event the testimonies for the Vivix as well and sharing my own, just, you guys, it blew me away. I even watched it again today because I didn't want to leave out anything that I wanted to say tonight. So, first and foremost, a way to maximize your, like Wayne, like you mentioned, like we have so many resources here, you guys, and it's easy to get overwhelmed. But this Glow Protocol event is just so easy for even the brand new person to utilize it and leverage it in their business and to get customers. And I'm going to share how I used it, how I'm still using it. And I even did a few extra things today just so I can have you guys, if you want to go watch my stories, just to show you kind of how I always use these events. I mean, every single event. I don't care if it's an opportunity call or sometimes a training, even like Never Miss a Monday. Sometimes I'll get little snippets, from that and share in my story if I'm talking about people, maybe wanting to partner with me. So, first and foremost, what you want to do is watch this event yourself. If you did not watch this Glow Protocol event, that's going to be your first little bit of homework. So that's your first action step is you go watch it. It's 30 minutes. You can even adjust the speed if you watch it. Like I watched it on my laptop today, and a couple of times I sped it up so they just talk a little bit faster. Depends on the person. I do that a lot. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes the people talk fast already, and if you speed it up, it sounds like the chipmunks and you can't grasp it. But first and foremost, go watch it and take notes. Like I've learned a couple of things that I'm going to share on a regular basis. As far as the products, you don't have to know everything. Like you don't have to be an expert on the product, but when you're sharing about it, especially if you're talking in your stories, you should be. Every time you're taking products, you guys, it's a chance for you to make content. And if you're like me, you take a lot of products. I'm like Wayne. I spend, I'm a product of the product. I take all the things. If you could see my little desk, I went live on my Facebook today and did my skincare, and like it's just covered up here. There's hardly room for my notebook. And the same thing, we use all the stuff. Um, but these events are just geared, they're doing the work for you. Like all you got to do is plug people into them. So after the event, I had tons of people that I invited, right? I talked about it, I leveraged it up to the point to, okay, it's live tonight. And then I sent everybody the link. And then I sent the link to them after the fact. I said, I hope you were able to get on because I wasn't able to reach out to everyone because I even sent a project broadcast out inviting people. So I was sending the replay. If you missed it, because it's quick, 30 minutes. If you missed it here, you can still watch it. And I'd love to get your feedback. So promote it, talk about it, even after the fact, like I talked about it today in my story. I'm like, you guys, I know I talked the other day about this Glow Protocol event. If you're just watching it for the first time, just say that. We had an event the other night. I just got to watch it today. You guys, it blew my mind. The education, the impact that these products can have on, our bodies. Like, I mean, I shared today, and then I videoed a couple of little snippets. I had some that I saved the other night, but today I took a couple of different snippets, and recorded like the problem, which Andrea shared really well about inflammation, being kind of the root of all disease. So I got that little snippet because you want people to go, okay, that makes sense, or you want them to um, see themselves, okay, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. You want them to, recognize, okay, that's my problem. Let me see what their solution is. So you want to always offer a solution. So I gave them a little bit of the problem, like what we talked about in the actual event. And then I gave them a little snippet of a testimony of what the products actually did for them. Okay. And that was Michelle. And she has a phenomenal testimony. And I even, zoomed in on her before and after. And so they can see a little snippet. And I just say comment replay if you want to watch this event. It's not too late. So, and then when they comment replay in my story or whatever, I can send them the link. And I have my everything typed out what I want to say, saved in boards because I have my own board with my own little scripts and stuff that I utilize. So that is your first thing. So watch it, promote it, talk about it in your story, share little clips, record little sections of video that you thought were impactful or that you learned something from, and then share that in your story and tell people to comment replay for the link. Okay. Another place that I shared this event was in my customer group. I have a customer, or some people call it a VIP group. Mine's called the Glow Babe Lounge. It's just where I talk about all the things. And midlife glow up. I tell, I'm the midlife glow up girl. Like we're looking for all the things. And as I've transitioned into, aging from the inside out and the whole 360 approach, I talk a lot more about all the things. And I kind of transitioned my group into that and my people into that. Kind of told them what was coming, why, and I can share like all the things, because I'm doing all the things. So I'm not one of those people that feel like you need to niche down, because I struggle doing that, because I literally am. I still love skincare. I still, want that topical glow up, but I also want to protect my cells, and I also want to lose, menopause belly fat, and I also want to, be active and help my people. I share all the things. So share that because it's a YouTube link. Like it's so easy, you guys. You can share it straight to your group. You can even share it on your feed if you wanted to. I haven't done that yet because just I don't feel like it's necessary for me. I share a lot. Um, but like I said, record those snippets. You can post those in your story. You can even um, you can post the snippets in your group too. Like if you just got something that was impactful, like they said some amazing things that really make a difference. They talked about the science, they talked about the product, they talked about the clinical studies and the trials of these products, and some really good content for you to post, to make a reel out of it, If you're even savvy, you can even put yourself on there like they do, and they're, you're like listening and all this stuff. Reach outs. Like I made a little list this weekend of who I thought would really benefit if I sent them that. So I did some reach outs and said we had an event the other night. I know in the past we had talked about, you having issues with inflammation or whatever. Um, I was just thinking if I sent you that you might really get a lot of benefit out of. Would that be something that you'd be interested in watching? It's only 30 minutes, and I think you would learn a lot. I typed up this little script and I changed it depending on the person that I was talking to, but I did some reach outs, um, and people they say yes, they want to watch it. Like people want a solution to their problem, and inflammation is, you guys, like I said, the root of almost every disease. And it starts at that cellular level. So it was a phenomenal, I mean, just nailed it all the way through. And the protocol, the actual Glow protocol, they have like, we love the good, better, best options, this team. So we have that good, better, best. And I actually had customers that watched it and they've been using the products even. And one of my really good customers, she messaged me and she said, it just, everything clicks now. It makes such, you know, sense. It makes perfect sense as to why I'm feeling better. And I just didn't realize like that cellular decline. And you guys, as an esthetician, I see all the aging in just all different areas, but I feel it in the face. As I'm doing a massage or whatever, I feel the breakdown. I can do a 20 or 30-year-old face, and then I can do a 50 or 60-year-old face, and I feel the decline. I feel the muscle loss. I feel, the bone loss even. So just think about if you're building muscles in your body, which Wayne talked about, and we all should be doing that, you have muscles in your face as well. And if you don't keep, those strong and intact, you will have just hollowness and sagging. And that's what we see. And I see it and I feel it. So I see, and then I encourage my people. I'm like, okay, you need these internals, not just topical, but you need these internal products. So, um, I also feel like this would be a great launch for a new person. So if you're like me, I offer to do an online launch, maybe a Zoom call for new people if someone's not close to you, or if you did a live launch, you could even show this at your launch party. But I just feel like it's such a great share. And it's just such a good starting point. These are our hero products, you guys. So if you're ever overwhelmed, and we have a huge portfolio, and you want to kind of niche down on your products, like this is where you start. The collagen, the Vivix, and then that Bio Age Reset pack, I think was the elite pack that they offer for the Glow Protocol. So it was like a 2-pack of collagen is your minimum, the Life Plus. And then so good, better, best. The better was, Life Plus and Vivix. And then that new package that they've got for like $2.99, where basically you get Vivix for free. It's insane. It is insane. And of course, everybody that messaged me said, okay, I want the elite package, because it just makes sense. I love that bundle. And it's also available for ambassadors as well. So if you want to pivot to that, well, before we do your order as a member, would you be interested in making some money? Because that's what we do here. Um, but one last thing is a way to leverage this. We also posted this event in our Be Ageless group, you guys. So that's our big customer. There's like 30 something thousand people in there. And if you are doing what you should be and ATMing people and inviting people to that group, for social proof, that whole third party, proof, your customers are in the group, you can tag them on there so they can watch it in that capacity. So one little tip I will say is if you're in Be Ageless and you're not active in that group and you never comment in that group, your people are not going to see the stuff that we're posting on the daily in that group. So add people to the group. You go through and comment. So when you comment, the algorithm's funny. It likes, activity. So when you comment, Facebook will actually show your people that you commented. So they will start seeing this stuff in the group. So That was one of the last things that I had to do today was actually tag a few people, comment on it myself first. You can even go there and watch it. So if you're asking for the YouTube link, which I saw pop up, it's in our Be Ageless group as well. And it's also in boards. Okay. Everything is right at your fingertip. I think it's even in Telegram. So we have so many resources, but you guys don't sleep on this. It was a phenomenal event.
That's awesome. And I think if they check their mailbox, it's actually in their mailbox as well.
Yeah.
US Post Mail. Just kidding. No, it is everywhere. So again, be someone that finds it all. That was awesome, Victoria. Thank you so much for that. And again, if the Glow protocol isn't like your full jam, you do have women in your life. Like you have people that want that trust me, there's people that need skincare to share with them. But again, we have all those other events as well. We have a fitness one that I did. There's practitioners one. So again, all these strategies flow to these different things, and events are the way to really build this business. So now we're going to pivot to our friend Zana, and I didn't realize when I was showing those photos of our trip, I forgot to say that Xana was in one of the photos because she brought her son out to visit with us when we were at the Ark in outside Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. The other, gosh, it seems like it was a week ago already because we drove so much. But when was that? That was just on Friday.
It was
Uh,
Friday,
yeah,
yes.
just on Friday. So let's have you jump in because you also took another event strategy and talk to everyone how they can use these launch events, and they can relaunch anytime, and how you leverage that. So we're kind of remember what Victoria was talking about with this evergreen event. There's a fitness one, but then Xana did one. So take it away.
Awesome, guys. Well, my voice isn't nearly as soothing as Victoria. I love her southern draw. I won't try to imitate that. This is what you get. My name is Xana, and yes, I did a launch event recently, and I'll just kind of give you the full background because I think that it's important to hear how even like seasoned leaders experience things. So, shout out to Lauren McQueen. She is a cross-line encourager for me. And we've been doing some work together kind of on the side and gathering our teams on a weekly call. And she asked me before the call permission to challenge our teams to do a launch party. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. You know, I've heard Sam talking about it. We should do that. And so we get on, I agreed to it. We get on with our teams, and Lauren tells our teams, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to encourage you to do. And we'll give you all the tools to do that. And then she said, and Xana and I are going to do one too. And I was like, oh, I didn't know we were doing it. I thought we were just telling our team to do it, which is so silly that I would even think that, but that's what I thought. And I'll just be totally transparent, immediate fear. So if you hear this and you experience any fear that comes up for you, might be for different reasons than my own, but I'm just saying it is a very natural response to put yourself out there, and it doesn't get any easier. So, Wayne said, fear is your door to freedom. Yes. I have learned since I've been doing this, I've been in this industry since 2010. So I've been here a long time. I have learned that when I feel fear, it's actually something that I should do. And so I've learned to push through that fear, but it doesn't mean that it goes away. It doesn't. It just, there's, a devil at every level. So, I had different fears than maybe the brand new person starting, but I still had fear. So anyway, long story short, I agreed to do it. And also on that call, Lauren said it was on a Wednesday, and Lauren said, I want you all to book your launch events before our next call. Oh, sorry, it was on a Thursday. She said before our next call next Thursday. So she gave literally 7 days to do it. And I was like, panic mode. So it's great when people challenge you. And so I would challenge you to do the same thing. But she said the first step is to just set the date for your launch party. And so I really like honored her wisdom and I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about what comes next and what comes next and what comes next and what comes next. I'm literally just going to book the date. And I booked it for the very last minute that I could. So it was Wednesday night before Thursday when she gave the deadline. And then I started to, to move the needle, right? What needs to happen after that? But first step was really just setting the date. So that's what I would encourage you with as well. Wayne, do you have the rest of the kind of timeline also up here or no? Am I just talking through those? Okay. Oh, invite scripts. Okay. So the first thing was setting the date. The second thing was making a list. And just from my experience, I know that I need to over invite because typically, however many people you invite, you're going to have half of those people say yes, generally, and you may have half of those people that actually show up. So our aim was 50 people, inviting 50 people, because I realized 25 will probably say yes, right? And then maybe 12, 13 or so will actually show up. And I wanted at least 10 in the room. So I figured that kind of covered my bases. So I made a list. Now, if you're brand new, then you can invite literally anyone because nobody knows what you're doing. And that might scare you. I actually encouraged a brand new girl today to set her launch party, and her first response to setting the date was, well, I don't know, have any idea who I would invite to that. And so I said, well, we're going to worry about that next. First, we're going to set the date, then we're going to talk about who to invite. But the good news for her and for all of you new people is that you literally can invite anyone and everyone because they don't know what you're doing, and you're just inviting them to hear about what you're doing. That's all. For me, and I think this is where a lot of fear was coming up for me. So if you're a more seasoned person, then you can maybe relate to this, is my fears were different. They were everybody already knows what I'm doing, or they think that they know what I'm doing. So what would I say to get them on a Zoom when they already know or feel like they know? And so my thought process was I need a different angle. I need a different conversation. I need something new, a reason for those people to want to get on. So my strategy for this call was not necessarily calling it a a launch party, but I called it the longevity edit, what I'm building now, because what I'm building now in Shaklee is new. And in my invites, and Wayne can go back to that script. In my invites, I will tell you, I did all voice memos except for these two. So I ended up inviting 55 people, and every single one of them was a voice memo except for these two text messages that I sent. So luckily I had these to show you guys, but my voice memos were very, very similar. And I will tell you that my strategy was simply to invite people in my life who love me and support me and who would come just to listen to this new venture for me. And I also considered those who I felt were of high character and high connectors so that I could invite them from the angle of this may or may not be for you, but I want you to know about this because it may resonate with someone that you know. And here's the thing, I know that you're already out there in the community connecting with people and pointing people to solutions when you see that's the type of person that I was inviting, was a solution-oriented person. And I just told them that. And I said, if you know what I'm doing and you hear someone out there in your circles of influence who need this, you will know to connect them to me after this call. And so that way people really felt like they could come on and just listen. And it was a very comfortable way for me to invite because, again, I felt like a lot of these people already kind of knew what I was doing. So I didn't want them to feel like I was pitching them. I really wanted them to feel like it was okay to just come and listen. And then, of course, I knew that it would resonate with some of them. So these were my invites. Just, version of them. But again, I did all voice memos. So step number one, setting the date. Step number two, making a list with an amount of people on it that you feel comfortable. Half will say yes and half will actually show up. And that's a good number for you. And then it's, creating some sort of invite that feels really authentic, genuine, and peaceful to you, even though it will still be scary. And if you don't know how to do that, then that's where your mentor comes in. I actually employed three mentors, nope, four, five. So Jen Blumberg helped me. Wayne and Bethany were great encouragers, Lauren McQueen, and then Lisa McGuire. So if you think that somebody who has done this since 2010 doesn't need help and support, you're wrong. I was literally bringing in all the troops because I was honestly quite panicked. Okay. Moving on. So those are the first couple steps. Wayne, did you also have the other steps or did you just put those in boards?
I'm sorry, I did not get those.
Okay.
So,
That's
guys, in
okay.
boards,
That's
she
okay. I've
has
got them in mind.
this will
I've
be
got
your
them in mind.
homework. Okay. Yeah, she's got this all laid out in here. And if you see this virtual launch events, there's a whole bunch of these steps in here. So it is laid out for you. But
Yes, so
again,
I had those typed up, and so
yeah,
sorry, you guys can pop in there and look. But I then after, of course, I invited. Those numbers were actually pretty spot on. That was the amount of people that said yes. And I will tell you this, guys, this I want you to know. There was nothing more energizing to me as this experience because the quality of people that I was inviting was what was causing a big amount of fear for me. But the quality of people was such top notch that I realized I never want to reach out to people that aren't this top notch again because the responses were so enthusiastic. Like I've never had responses like that. And I think it's because the people that I was inviting were honestly just really high character people, which of course caused me fear. But in the end, I realized this is actually really fun because these people are responsive and they're enthusiastic and they're genuine. So I was really, really encouraged by everyone saying, I mean, I even had people that were like, I can't make it. Will you please record it or do it again? And then I did. So anyway, then after we did the inviting, then it was preparing the launch, which we just used one of the business op um, slide decks that are in boards. And then we just altered it a little bit. I had to remove some of the slides because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't too long. And then I wanted to add a slide in the beginning that was just my story. And then I introduced my sponsor. So if you don't know how these launch events go, really if you're hosting the launch event, if you're the one hosting it, you are really only talking for the first 2 minutes and maybe the last 2 minutes. In between, the person who is presenting the information is your mentor. And that should bring a lot of peace. So you really just need to have solidified your story, introducing your sponsor. Your mentor does the rest. And then at the end, they bring you back in. And I chose to close. You don't have to do that. You can have your sponsor close if you feel like you need a stronger close. But I really felt like these people want to hear me close it down. So that's what I did. So we got together, me and Lisa, and we made the Canva presentation awesome. And shout out to Lisa. If you are mentoring somebody who does this, I will tell you, Lisa took so much time with me because she understood how anxious I was about this. So she was so careful to really help me with every stage of it. And also, she was on 30 minutes early, peacefully getting everything ready so that I didn't have anxiety. So be that as a leader too. Don't just wing it. Make sure you're ultra prepared. Like she was very, very prepared. Okay. Um, you want your presentation to be 30 minutes or less. So our first one that we did went over and I did not like it. And so guess what? It was fine. It went well. My guests did not know that we went over in time. Like they didn't, it is what it is at the end of the day. But we did turn around and do a second one literally 3 days later. And that one we had it dialed in much better and it went much more fluidly. So I recommend that you practice in advance because we did not do that. And that was an error. So make sure that you actually get with your sponsor and practice it. And then the only other thing that I wanted to mention that was really important for us was at the end having a call to action. And I will give you our call to action. It is in the board that Wayne just showed you. But um, I said this part, and you could absolutely have your mentor say this part, but at the end, we had them opt in with an engagement number. So drop a one if you'd like more information about the products and how they may support your health goals. Drop a two in the chat if you're curious about the business and how to create additional income here. Drop a three in the chat if you know someone who would benefit from what we shared tonight. And so we actually gave space for our guests to drop a number. And then I said, because this helps me follow up in a way that feels supportive to you. So I asked them to do that, and then I tracked what they put in the chat so that when I reached out to them, I knew who wanted what. Okay. A couple other things. Remind your guests, obviously, the day before your event, because I invited several days in advance, so I needed to make sure that they remembered. So I reminded them the day before, and then I reminded them the day of. And my reminders were different. Like it wasn't just, I mean, if I'd already reminded them the day before and they confirmed, then my reminder the day of was just, hey, I can't wait to see you tonight. Or for a couple of them, I was like, it means so much to me that you're taking time out of your evening tonight to be there. That's like really solidifying for them. Like this means a lot to me. So my reminders sounded different each time, but it was important that they had those, especially for just busy people. And then even when we jumped on, I jumped on a couple of minutes early and I said, hey, I'm hopping on. So lots of reminders. Okay, finally, following up. Following up was very interesting to me. I had a lot of people that were like, oh, I could absolutely see this being a connect. I could absolutely connect you to people. I might be interested in the products down the road. I had a lot of people that like people weren't like, send me your link. Okay, that absolutely did not happen. But people were encouraged and excited and animated about what I was doing. They just weren't necessarily saying, I'm all in yet. And so it has taken me a lot of follow-up, but I'm still in the trenches with those follow-ups. And the goal is if someone says that they're interested in product, the goal is getting them ATM'd in the Be Ageless page. If they are interested in knowing more about the income, the goal is to get them on a Zoom with your mentor so that they can have a more personalized conversation other than just a Zoom. Um, and then if their goal is to connect, if they say that they want to connect you, then the goal is to get a name. Who are you thinking of? Who did this remind you of? Who can you connect me with now? So those follow-ups have taken time and we're still in the process of that. But it is so important to put the effort in with the follow-ups. And Bethany is the one that told me, she said, because I was sharing with her how anxious I was about it. She said, Ziana, the most important thing that you can do after the Zoom is no matter what, no matter the outcome, no matter what happens, none of it, pop in another personal voice memo with each and every person and thank them for taking the time and thank them for listening and just tell them how honored you were to have them and that you would love to help them. And that was just so genuine and so real. I was like, I can do that. So just an encouragement to be there for the follow up and make sure that you get down in the trenches. Even if people say they weren't interested in something, I cannot tell you, I've pivoted probably about 7 conversations that maybe weren't really that interested, or maybe they were interested in product, but we pivoted it to business. So just know that you can pivot, but you've got to be in those trenches and those conversations following up. I think that's about it.
That was awesome. I mean, I know there's more layers to it, guys. But again, you can get all those details, reach out. I mean, a lot of the mentors, coaches, or leaders, we all know how to do this, so we'd be happy to help guide you, walk you through all of this because events are just, that's where it's at. It's you have to have impending events. And so I'm gonna land the plane with a quick kind of finishing training, which is funny. I kind of knew what the gals were going to talk about tonight, but I didn't in full know what they were exactly going to say. But I feel like what I'm going to wrap up here will just kind of put a bow on this and hopefully really encourage you and get you to the next level where you want to go. So here's what I want to share with you here, and this is like top secret. I'm showing you this, okay? What I'm about to show you, this is like a disclaimer, only works if you have done these things first, okay? So I'm going to show you something. And here's the other thing. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this part, but I'm going to share with you. A lot of you guys know that I do real estate as well. I help people buy apartments, which means when we have a new apartment, me and my team that I work with, we usually need to raise about $4 to $10 million of investor capital to go buy an apartment together. So instead of buying $100 worth of Vivix, I'm asking people for $100,000. So think about this. I'm going to show you something that gets people to wire $100,000 to invest in an apartment. So if it works for $100,000, do you think it will work for a $200 order? Absolutely, right? So I'm going to show you something that is so powerful that no matter how much money is invested, and my friend that taught me this that I work with, he's raised $90 million worth of capital in the last 4 years. Like this guy from a little tiny town in North Carolina that grew up and had a landscaping business. Like he's not Albert Einstein rocket science, but he follows a system and a process. And so he taught me this, and I actually was able to do it. And I melded what we do here in direct sales because a lot of it is the same. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's relationships. But here's the thing. It will only work if you've completed the getting started training. Okay. So make sure you've done the get it started training that's in the Impact Collective. And then the other part is this is key is you really have to have your own personal brand. Like you got to have your social media on point because you could do all this stuff and then they go look online and go, that doesn't look like someone that is like health and wellness guru expert that's going to help me, transform or is in the journey. You don't have to be like a Greek god of fitness. But you need to be in the journey and be talking about it, right? So you have your personal brand and who you know and who you serve, right? So you know that person, and we call it the hedgehog principle from the book Good to Great. And for Bethany and I, we have a specific product plan that we typically get every person that we talk to started on for that. And so here's the you just get a screenshot of this because we're kind of at the end of the time, but I think you're going to get it, and it's going to put a bow on everything we are talking about here. And it's really the number one obstacle. I think I froze. Am I back? Am I back? Okay, good. Hopefully my face wasn't looking weird, but you guys are like, your face is always weird. Okay, good. Just seeing if you're still with me. Okay. So 4 quadrants, because here's the thing, the number one thing in sales is like, who can I talk to? That is the number. Like I go to all these things and everyone's just like, I need more people to talk to. Like I need more prospects. I need more like because it's sales, right? So no matter what you're doing, this is the roadblock and this is the thing to overcome. So the first prospect quadrant is our warm market. And so that is obviously we follow the success system. I'm not even going to talk about that because that's everything we do when you launch. Then Xana and Victoria just talked about this other one, which is this one to many. This is hosting the longevity event, or we call it like an access event where people get to see, but then you get so much content out of that one event, and that gets you one to many. And then the third is cold market, and that's just reaching out, doing booths, having your social media on point. And so, a lot of us, we do that because we know we need more people. We need more people in our pipeline. We always have to have our pipeline. But the thing that I want to talk to you about that my friend taught me that's raised $90 million of capital, he is the daddy. It's other people's audiences. OPA. That's what I say. OPA. Now, when you get down into OPA, oh my, it will expand your warm market like you've never believed. And it's the fast track to credibility because you find other leaders that are doing other things and you can tap into them. Okay. And so tapping into that, here's the thing, other people's audiences. So other people have these networks. They have leadership in other areas that are not, direct sales nutrition, right? Obviously, you're not going to go try to like tap into someone else's audience because I don't want some other person to be like tapping into my audience, like we'd be competing, right? So I'm tapping into other people that are doing cool things in other areas, and I'm connecting with them and I'm asking them things like, hey, who would be the best client you could ever get to help your business? I think I may know that person. Could I help you? Who is that person? Or, hey, do you want to do a dual live with me? I mean, you got a great audience. I got a great following. Why don't we, even if you only have 200 followers, you got a great following. Don't just be like, hey, I got an audience. You got an audience. Why don't we do a dual live? We can each talk about our story, what we're doing, what's important to us, what's our purpose, and start to do these things. And again, it's going to just multiply your audience through these others. And again, you're genuinely, you find someone that you actually like, that you want to have a conversation with, right? That you respect, and go after those people. So here's the challenge, and you get a screenshot of this. This is along with what Victoria and Xana talked about tonight as far as action. So here's the best thing is we're giving you the menu tonight, like you went into the restaurant, and you get to choose like, man, that what Victoria's doing, that really resonated with me. I can do that. Or what Xana did, you're like, I can do that. Or okay, what Wayne's talking about, I need a little more. I can do that. I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. Send me a message, reach out to me. I'll give you some more. But here's the first part that I want you to do. So take a screenshot of this is identify 10 people you have who have audiences outside of you. And you think of it as like people that you know, respect. Maybe you don't know them as well, but you really respect them. They're doing something really cool. Maybe they have a gardening page on Instagram, or maybe they have a, dog training thing, anything that's just outside of what you're doing. And you're like, man, they're excellent. I want to, and be like, hey, could I do a dual live with you? Because I really want to know your story. How did you get into that? Or ask to feature their story and just start to get right, be an abundance mind, like share them with your audience, and they're going to do the exact same thing for you. Ask them who a big client is that you could potentially introduce them to. So I was in a networking group that built my whole entire business in the past. And one of the things when I'd meet new people would come to the group, and I would go do a lunch appointment with them or a coffee with them typically. And I would just ask them this question. I'd say, hey, Xana, tell me who your like whale of a client is. Like not just I want to not just have like give you a fish. I want to teach you how to fish. Like if I could help you find like the client that could feed your whole family for an entire year, who would that be? So I'd be talking to someone that sells windows and doors, and I'd be like, hey, who would be like a whale of a client for you? And they're like, whale of a client. I was like, no, like someone that like if I introduced you to them with me introducing them to you and validated you, like it could like feed your whole business for a year. Who would that person be? And they'd be like, oh my gosh. They're like, well, maybe like this type of a person. I was like, you know what? I think I know someone like that. I'm gonna try to go get some names, and I'm gonna introduce you to two or three people. Would that help you? And they'd be like, who is this guy? Yes. And then guess what? Unless they were an absolute moron that I never wanted to talk to again, what would they do? They'd go, "Well, who's your whale, Wayne? Like who can I introduce you to?" And then I would go, "Well, here's the type of person I'm looking for. I'm looking for a new business partner, someone that, has these attributes that I could help build a business. They want more time for." And I'd describe my person and they would refer me back. So again, just go take care of other people, help others win, and they will help you win the same thing. And then the other thing I try to do is I try to get on other people's podcasts. I go to events. I'm running out of time here tonight, but you know, almost every new person that we've got as an ambassador the last 4 months has been someone that I've either been on their podcast or I've been at their event, and I met them and I started to build a relationship from them, just being in bringing my audience, my network to whatever they were doing, freely with abundance to be like, hey, people trust me, I trust you. Let me tell people what you do, and I think you're going to reciprocate it. But I don't tell them that they're going to reciprocate it. They just naturally, as a good human, want to reciprocate it, right? So here's the action step for you is I got to get my screen. So do one this month. So do one Facebook or IG live this month with that person. So find your 10, but schedule one and be like, hey, let's do an Instagram live. Let's each share a story that shows up on, our audiences and helps us get better. And then plan and execute your access event. I'm calling it the access event because it gives people access to what you're doing. Okay. So from the Xana example, and then get 5 people to watch the Glow protocol if that's your jam by Sunday, and then plan to attend a networking event or a mastermind event. Look out in your local area and be like, hey, who's doing some networking, business, masterminding? How can I get in the room? And how can I go in and meet people with how can I help these other people win? You'll be the favorite person there, trust me. Instead of going in like a lot of people go in and like, I'm trying to get a bunch of business. I'm trying to sell. I'm trying to sell. Like it's, dogs smell fear. People smell those people coming. They call it commission breath, right? So go in with the heart to serve and watch what happens. And then find someone that's doing a podcast, a little podcast or something, and be like, hey, could I jump on your podcast and I'll post what you're doing on your podcast with my audience and I'll share it. Again, everyone that's starting to start wants to start something, they want other people to share their stuff. So if you can say, hey, let me hop on, could I share my story, share what I'm doing, and talk about my background, that's how you can get OPA and your business will multiply. Trust me, it's again going back to what I said at the beginning. We have so much freedom in our life because we've been able to tap into those four quadrants. But that fourth one is the one I know right now for us, we're just like pounding. We're like other people's audiences. They have the people that we need to know. And when we get in there, people get to know us and they're like, wow, okay, these products are amazing. This business is amazing. And like, I like these guys. And it starts to grow from there. So, okay. That's what we got. Thanks for joining. Never miss a Monday. We'll be back next week with I'm sure we'll hear a update from the growth event with all the people, all the team that are there. I think there's about 20, 30 people from the team from Impact Collective that are there. So have a great rest of your week and let's take some action. Have a good one. God bless. Take care.